The BYU Cougars, the Arizona Wildcats, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. This weekend in Big 12 basketball was phenomenal. If you missed it, well, that's fine. That's what I'm here for. Also, Scott Drew's going to miss the NCAA tournament. This is Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor crossover.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor. Drake Toll with you from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, America's Locked On Big 12. That's Cameron Stewart, Locked On Baylor. Thanks for making our shows your first listen every single day. If you are doing the snow today, congrats. Or not congrats, and I hope you're okay and your power doesn't go out.
Better than the ice.
Worst snowstorm, ice storm of all time, I'm being told.
Yeah, that's good.
In the meantime, behind me, you see this view behind me? I'm literally in Destin, Florida. That's what that is. Yep. Feet of snow behind me. This weekend in Big 12, if you missed the basketball that happened, you missed some 43 points from a freshman, 42 points from another freshman. Both of them records at their own respective schools, and one of those guys lost the game. Incredible stuff. And then tonight, you get BYU and Arizona. I would argue the biggest game in the Big 12 to this point. We will start with a recap of BYU, Texas Tech, Arizona, all of the action you saw on Saturday. Then the Big 12 schedule reveal in football was sad. Why was it sad? I'll tell you. And finally, BYU, Arizona preview tonight of what you need to know and what you need to watch, because you do need to watch it, and you don't have school tomorrow, so you might as well watch it and stay up late. If you hit subscribe, we get to keep our jobs. Cam, I think the biggest storylines from the weekend have to be Texas Tech 90, Houston 86, and the 90 points on the Houston defense. Incredible game. Milan Momcilovic, the first half for Iowa State leads to a massive win. 43 points from AJ Dybantsa. UCF is a tournament team. This is the Big 12.
It so is. I wish my team was part of it. I love the Big 12. I love Big 12 basketball. I hope to be a part of one someday. I mean, you got explosiveness on Saturday. I mean, the Dybantsa thing was, look, a little biased here. Okay, grew up 2 towns away from where AJ Dybantsa.
That was your nickname in college, little biased.
I have a vested interest, little biased. And so I've been following all of his games on top of the Baylor games. And so I was like glued into that on Saturday night, seeing him. I mean, when he goes for the 40th, that 3, like the camera was shaking. The place was just unbelievable. Milan Momcilovic is honestly, I was thinking about this yesterday, like one of the most forgotten about players in the Big 12 in a weird way.
Yeah, he's been here for a while too, by the way.
He's been here a couple of years. Like he was an excellent player as a freshman. So that's how you get to that point where like, oh yeah, he's still doing this. He's still doing this because he was really good as a freshman. And obviously like it's Taman Lipsey's team. But when you need 29, 30 points from Milan Momcilovic, he's going to give you it. And even in some days where you don't need it, he's going to give it to you. He's going to give you 6-7 threes in a game pretty consistently. Like that is, and it's a dude that any contending team in the country would take on their team. Anybody would take a Milan Momcilovic on their team.
Yes.
He's totally invaluable, man. Like a guy who is a knockdown shooter. And I know everyone shoots a little bit in college basketball these days, but like a knockdown, drag out shooter that can guard a couple different positions. Like, are you kidding me, man? Wish Baylor had one of those.
88-53, by the way. A good West Virginia basketball team that I think we'll get to the end of the season. You'll say, ooh. Because remember, they're still above 500 in Big 12 play. If you're above 500 in Big 12 play, you will make the NCAA tournament. I think Baylor's 1-6.
Oh. So we're getting there.
And for West Virginia to be as good as they are, you go on the road and go down 43-23 at halftime. All right, let's see some fight in the second half. Or you lose the second half 45-30. That is like watching this Arizona. By the way, only one Arizona starter. Listen to this. Only one Arizona starter played more than 30 minutes in this game. One. And they won 88-53 against a good West Virginia Mountaineers team. Like, just across the West Virginia, it's good. Arizona is the best team in the Big 12. We'll talk about them more later on in the show as they play BYU tonight in Provo. I'll be there. Come on. I'll be there. I'll be at the game. Cam, on the other side of this, there is, for what goes up, there is that must come down. Houston's still a very good basketball team. I'm not going to, the sky's not falling because they allowed 90 points, which is very rare for Kelvin Sampson. The sky's not falling for them. The sky is falling, like aggressively falling for the Baylor Bears. 97-90 against TCU. And here's the deal. I'm going to start with Baylor instead of Kansas State or Colorado or Cincinnati or Utah and pray on their downfall, because it's the same Bears team that won the national championship a couple years ago, have the same head coach from the national championship, and now, I'm going to say it, they suck.
And blow. Yeah. It's bleak, man. It's really bleak.
This is like the one thing. Like when baseball's bad, when football's bad, like at least as a Baylor alum, I can go once every weekday, once a weekend, and watch the basketball team be at least good, at least competitive.
That's the thing here. You know, a lot of people from outside the Big 12 will see it as like, oh yeah, Baylor's back in their hole. You know what I mean? But like, this is worse. Like this, if this continues like this is going to be the worst Baylor team in almost 20 years. Like they were always consistent and good, and you know, a couple NIT teams in there for sure. One year they won it, so you know, pretty decent team. This is bad. Like this is not good at 1-6. And you looked at this game this weekend thinking, okay, you lost to TCU at TCU, which is not a tough place to play. And TCU's an aggressively okay team. And then you play them at home and give up 97 in regulation and lose. This team is a dumpster fire, man. Like they don't know where they're going. It's the opposite of the t-shirts they give out to the freshmen. They don't know where they're going. It's just a team that is not talented enough, and they're not clicking. And there's effort there, but they can't defend anybody. And if you 97 to TCU, like why am I saying any more than that? 97 to TCU in regulation. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. If you score 90 points against the school formerly known as Texas Christian in men's basketball, you need to win that game. You need to. And they can't do it, man. This is like, and I know you saw the Evan Mia stat, which I talked about on my show the other day.
Yeah.
They're the worst team in the country at playing up to competition, the worst in the country. And you look at the Big 12, it's like, who is below you? Like, who is below you in competition? If you're never going to beat teams that are better than you or equal to you, you're going to win 2-3 conference games the whole year.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what we're talking about here. And I am worried that we're going to get to that. I really am. I think Baylor's right in that bottom tier conversation right now.
This game could have ended 77-60. Like it wasn't as close as 97-90, by the way.
Yeah.
It could have ended 77-60 where it was 4.5 minutes to go. That last 4.5 minutes in real time took like an hour.
Yeah. It was actually gross. It was the worst.
Delaying the inevitable of, well, we know Baylor's going to lose, but maybe they'll cover the live plus 7.5. Just a brutal showing for what once was a basketball powerhouse, and everything is sad. NIT. Luckily,
like not the way that DePaul used to be a powerhouse. This is a powerhouse. Like 3 years ago, they were still a powerhouse. What happened, man?
DePaul.
How do we get here?
Providence, Seton Hall. Come on, Marquette.
Providence. I don't know about Providence.
Xavier. Man. Come on.
Providence made a Final Four, though.
Georgetown.
His 900th win led them to the Final Four. Billy Donovan was his point guard.
Yeah,
87.
That guy. Coming up, the Big 12 football schedule was revealed, and it is sad. Why? Because we're just sending all of our teams to Europe. Our finest young men are going to Europe. It's Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor.
America's Conference.
Hey, what do you know? Today's show is sponsored by FanDuel. Why is it sponsored by FanDuel? Because FanDuel is the place to go during the NFL season, which is still going on. And what do you mean still going on? Yeah, it's still going on because the Super Bowl is on the way. And for FanDuel and fans of the NFL and fans of not the NFL, but fans of like winning money and being happy, the Super Bowl is your place to be. With FanDuel, you get these profit boosts for Super Bowl 60. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding the underdog, building the last same game parlay. This is the game we've all been waiting for. $5. Get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count. because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel.com. How about those New England Patriots, huh?
That was
crazy.
A really good, a really bad game yesterday.
Crazy.
One of the games of all time.
Baylor
alum, Jarrett Stidham.
Yep. In
Baylor
spirit. Yep. He was here for a bit.
MCC guy.
Until the Art Briles did that thing.
What?
The Eastern New Mexico coach, Art Briles. Yeah, that guy. Big 12 schedule release. Here's the deal. I got this comment a lot. I don't usually read the comments, but I decided to, and wanted to die. But aside from that, I thought one prevalent thing was right. People called me out. They're like, hey, you're freaking out over the schedule that was the schedule a month ago. Like, we knew these teams a year ago. We did not know where they would fall in the season. It's about analyzing where teams and who has the easiest schedule of the season. Like Baylor. Baylor goes on the road for a true road game one time the first 7 weeks of the season. Week 0 on, one time.
Yeah. But like
at Arizona State.
Week 1's not a neutral site.
Yeah, but it could have been in Waco, and then Baylor was like, "No." It would have been in Auburn. Yeah. So I think you win, but the fact it wasn't in Auburn.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be an NFL stadium full of Auburn fans, so.
Who cares, man? Like at some point, who cares? Like, I don't even. What do we even? Next team, next question. I don't even. Dave Aranda. Yeah, I mean, Baylor gets to go play in an NFL stadium against Auburn, brand new head coach.
This is the only time Dave Aranda players will be able to experience an NFL stadium. So that's
DJ Lagway will get to play against an SEC team again.
Can't wait,
but
man.
Look. I think I mentioned a lot on my show last week. The schedule's pretty easy for BYU. They get to settle in. Utah Tech, Arizona at home. Arizona's tough, but they played at home. You know, it would be 8:20 Eastern time, a late game. And then Colorado State on the road. It's like that ECU game. They win it by 17. It's kind of gritty, 34-17, but they win. And then they get a bye week before they go on the road to TCU. I don't know how good TCU is going to be. Texas Tech. Oh, man.
By the way, real quick, just pause real quick. Does anyone know how good TCU is going to be or how good TCU has been? Like, this is a team that Vegas is giving worse odds to win the Big 12 and win the national championship than Baylor. And yet this is a team that finished in the top 25 final rankings this year. Like, does anybody really know? Like, has TCU become one of those teams that's like, you know what? They're usually pretty good, and they're 8-4 again. Like, let's just throw them in there. That's not even like a shade thing, but I'm like, is that just what they've become?
Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn TCU mediocre? That's the question. Like, how many 8-4, 9-3s until you're like, you know what? Fire Bo Pelini, fire Mark Richt. We're mighty TCU. Hire Gary Patterson.
Yeah, I think TCU's got a better option than Nebraska had those years ago.
TCU, they hired Michael Riley, right?
TCU?
No, Nebraska when they fired Pelini.
That sounds right.
I think it was Mike, yeah. The TCU firing Dykes and hiring Gary Patterson is the equivalent of the Steelers being like, oh, you didn't like Mike Tomlin? Well, you'll love Mike McCarthy. Yes.
That was the best hire I've ever seen, by the way. I know we can't talk about it.
So great.
But that's the best hire I've ever seen.
So great. Look, I didn't mention this. When we talk about easing our way into this whole thing, you ready for this, Cam? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Two teams, dose, that I think no one's talking about, that they need to talk about, because these two teams are going to win. You ready? Utah and West Virginia. Did he say something nice about Utah? Listen to this, Cam. Listen to this. Listen. Idaho versus Utah in Salt Lake. I know who I'm taking. Utah hosts Arkansas.
Yeah, but if it was at the Kibbe Dome,
true.
Toss up.
Utah hosts Arkansas. Arkansas is terrible.
I know.
Utah State. Terrible. Iowa State. Like, look, listen. 3 and maybe Idaho may have a new coach. I don't know. Why would I need to know? At least three of the first four teams Utah plays have a new head coach.
Utah State's got a new coach?
Yeah, I think so. They keep rotating them.
I was really hoping they were searching for one next year, a former Utah State DC.
Honestly, maybe they don't. I'm just kind of making this up as I go. They may have the same head coach.
All right. So 3 of the 4 first teams may or may not have a new coach.
In my brain, maybe it's Bronco Mendenhall. Maybe it's the guy from Arkansas State, Blake something. Maybe
I always
Bronco
get Bronco and Ken Niamonalolo mixed up.
You would?
Where they are, not like based on how they look.
They look identical as well.
Yeah, like one of them wears a lei. But like I always get mixed up where they are.
Idaho, Arkansas, Utah State, Iowa State, who I think will suck, by the way.
Yeah, kind of down on Iowa State, man. I was looking at Baylor's schedule the other day, and I started talking about how tough their November was, and Iowa State's one of them. And people kind of rightfully came at me for it. It was like, I don't think they're very good. And then I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't think they're very good. Sorry.
Utah will beat Idaho. They'll beat Arkansas. They'll beat Utah State. They'll beat Iowa State. They'll get a bye week, and they'll beat Kansas. And then they'll beat Colorado. Utah, no matter good or bad, like they still have the basis for being decent. They'll be 6-0. That's good. That's a start that launches you into a good second half of your season. And then they host Houston. That's even better. They played at home. West Virginia, listen to this. Coastal Carolina, win. UT Martin, win. They play Virginia. I'm not buying Virginia again. 1 year, good having a fun time. I'm not buying it
Chandler
again.
Morris, probably.
Lost to Duke. Then they play Oklahoma State at home. That's winnable. Then
that's conference opener too for a lot of new players for Oklahoma State, who I think will be much improved. But first
in
conference
Morgantown,
game,
I do like Oklahoma State to win 8 or 9 games, but this is not one of them. Let's talk coin flip.
All right.
But let's say you lose that game, then you play Iowa State. That's a win. West Virginia is starting 5-0. Then they get to host Arizona and Cincinnati. That's a 6-1, 7-0 football team. Now they don't get their first bye week till week 9, which is terrible. It's really bad, actually. What,
do they get 2 and 3 weeks or something?
No. I don't know what we're doing here. They only get 1 bye week. I'm not really sure why, but everybody gets week 0. I guess TCU gets a bye week for week 1 because they're playing North Carolina and Dublin. Here's why it's sad. It's not sad because I think Utah and Arizona, or Utah, West Virginia, I should say, both have pretty easy starts and will propel themselves to success. Here's why it's sad. Baylor's playing Auburn and Atlanta. Arizona State's playing Kansas and London. TCU's playing North Carolina and Dublin. The Baylor one's an outlier here. But the teams that are traveling, specifically overseas, just sucks. We've learned that's a great way to kill your entire season.
Yeah, from that standpoint, it really does stink. It's these teams that play in these early season international games. It does not go well. Usually the winning or the losing side. Like it's not great. You're going to fall short of your expectations. And the other thing too is it's just it's kind of what we talked about last year. It's like as much as that was cool for like a spotlight to be on Farmageddon like that, you want that to be played on campus. Even a non-Big 12 school like Baylor playing Auburn, we want that played on a campus, dude. Like that is because it's college football. Like that is inevitably what is going to be a better setting than playing in Atlanta or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or the Aviva in Dublin. Like,
you're saying a lot of words that I don't know.
Yeah, I can go all day with the British Irish stuff if you want. 2 separate things. But it's kind of just crappy for the Big 12 teams because it feels like you're almost in these gimmicky things. If Baylor and Auburn were 2 top 15 teams that was playing in Atlanta, that's probably a different story, right? That's kind of that's a big marquee event. But there's no real reason for it to be played in Atlanta. There's no real reason for TCU and North Carolina to be in Dublin. And I just think it takes away from a good Big 12 product when you're putting it in a place and having it in a setting that isn't the coolest to watch. You know what I mean by that? It's kind of...
Yes, that's why it's sad. That's why it's sad. That's why it's sad, man. Coming up, BYU Arizona. Game of the year in the Big 12, but no one's talking about it. This is Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor. Oh, are you ready for this? Mazda. there's a reason to drive a Mazda. That's because Mazda is moving the game forward. For those who show there's more to the score than what's on the screen, these remind us of what really takes to raise the bar. And the biggest highlight that raised the bar this week, AJ Dybantsa's 43 points against Utah. Crazy. Extra work off the court, dialing in every detail, giving it the extra fire, the grit, and I never quit. We put the same passion into every model. Highlights make the real. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you with Mazda. He's Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor, and he loves basketball. Look, let's do this. I'm going to tell you about what I experienced in the Utah game between BYU and Utah when I was in the facility, in the club, on a
find me there.
And then I'm want to talk about the atmosphere we'll see tonight, the game we'll see tonight. I'm going to get to that. But before, Cam, if you're a Baylor fan, if you're a UCF fan, if you're a Cincinnati
let's just say I'm a Baylor fan. Yeah.
If you're a Houston fan, if you're an Arizona fan, you should be watching this game so closely to see the Big 12 showcased at the top of college basketball.
It's a great night. It's a great night for it. Day after conference championships, you're locked in on good sports.
How about those Pats, by the way?
Kind of feels like we're in college basketball season at that point, right? Definitely after the Super Bowl, but kind of right now, you're going to have 2 weeks in between. You're going to have college basketball at the weekend. This is humongous. Like, this is huge. And I can't understand. I mean, I can in a vacuum, but like everyone and anyone has been hyping up this Kansas BYU matchup later in the week. Or Allen, and
we that's just great. Saw Texas Tech Houston, by the way, too, which credited a great atmosphere,
but also did not get the hype that this. Everyone's talking about Kansas BYU, man. It's going to be the most hyped game in years. It's like, we did have a great matchup with Tech and Houston in an awesome environment, and that's not even the best game that BYU is going to play in this week. This is the number one team in the country coming to Provo, like supposed to be the next hub of college basketball with the money they're throwing around, the players they're getting, the excitement around this program, and the great game day atmosphere they have. Like, this is the game. In fact, I'd go as far as saying this might be the game of the year in college basketball so far. And a couple of good neutral site games, you did, but this in a raucous environment on a true big Monday for two fan bases that it's not even going to be a late night for them. Like, this is the game of the year in college basketball, I think, to this point.
Louisville goes to Duke. Super cool, by the way. I like when there is other competition on a big Monday. But Louisville going to Duke is the appetizer. That game's at 5. BYU Arizona is at 7:30. It's local time. It's mountain time. 5 o'clock for Duke. 7:30 local time for BYU Arizona. We're talking Monday night. Standalone game, unless you're watching UT Rio Grande Valley and Texas A&M Corpus Christi, which...
Oh, my secret shame.
Yep.
Go Islanders.
Yep. I won't tell Grace, your fiance. I'll make sure she never finds out. This... I was in the house on Saturday, on TV, but in front of the church leaders. Those Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints kids, they can party in the name of the Lord and in the name of the basketball. Holy cow.
In the arena.
I don't understand. I watched a video the other day. Oz, the mentalist.
Mm-hmm.
Who just toying with Matthew Stafford and doing stuff with the Rams. And you're like, oh, how does that happen? It's magic. Guy pops a balloon, 2 doves fly out. Magic. Cam, there's the student section. And then when the opposing team at a BYU game shoots the free throws, they've got like the wiggly car lot.
Wacky, inflatable tube man.
Inflatable.
Wacky waving inflatable tube man.
Where do they come from? And how do they just burst out? And they've got cougar faces. Where do they come from? How do they burst out of the nothing? They come from the ether.
This is BYU, man. They got people everywhere. I got people all over this great country in this world.
No, I don't get it.
It emerges.
How when you see the picture of the student section and there's the wheels, right? The wheels that confuse you, and there's the signs and the faces and the cupcakes, and that they had like one of them was Charles Barkley, I think, for who knows why. But Cam, I don't know where they come from. Like it's enough props to fill a warehouse. There are multiple wiggly waggly tube men. That's what they called me in high school. There are multiple wiggly waggly tube men that come out of nowhere, and those take like motors. They need like generators to make them all go.
They've got tunnels.
And they just warp themselves out of the ground. It is like I'm watching. We in terms, and it's killing most of the elderly fans. Like, what? I can't hear. I feel really bad for half the arena. It's like, I don't know, loud music.
They still got a smile. They're covering the ears, but they got a smile. Yeah.
Here's something I will say. This isn't just BYU. It's anywhere in America. They love to put the rich old people as close as possible. They're like, yeah.
A lot of places like that in America.
It's every sports. It's every sporting event. Yeah. Like, get them as close as possible to the opposing bench so they can shake the hand of the opposition. I want just one game at an arena, maybe BYU, maybe Arizona, maybe Baylor, where, hey, students only game. Only students, students and elementary school kids. Those are the two most dangerous things.
No chaperones.
And you
just let them cut it loose, man.
And
hey, Baylor did the right thing of having the students behind the benches, but hey.
And as we know, Baylor always does the right thing.
Yep.
Known for
and is always always known for how much it parties and gets a great atmosphere.
Yep. So I do have qualms with how we handle fan bases. And I've talked to BYU students who are like, yeah, man, I'm a senior. I can't go to basketball games because there's so many people that are in the queue. So I get it's not perfect, but that atmosphere. I'm watching Utah players, and they're looking around, and they're human beings. I've been around athletes. They're honest people. These Utah guys are like, yeah, kind of wish we had that, because they're going to have to go home on Wednesday to Salt Lake against Oklahoma State. And then, the speaker, Cam, you've seen it at Baylor games. There's 17 people there.
Echoing. Hitting off the walls and coming back. Yeah.
And there's like the 7 kids that will never get laid, even when they get married, who are in the and they're the only 3 jumping up and down in the student section. This happens at universities all across the country. Can I say get laid? I'm not sure if that's right.
I don't know.
It's
your show.
I'll get a phone call. It's fine. Hey, look, if you committed to a life of celibacy, by the way, good for you. Who am I? Who am I to judge? Great for you. That
get a lot more done.
Yeah. Honestly, I read an article about the last castrato this week.
You read?
I learned something. I learned recently. Yes, my Baylor PR degree.
I grokked it. Grok read it to me.
Grok, tell me about the last castrato. Grok, pretend that I'm Floyd Mayweather. And tell me about the last castrato.
Grok, summarize this and please read it out loud in Patrick Stewart's voice.
I'm speaking it into my phone. Grok. I've been Siri. Just unlocked phone. Grok. I'll end the show here, which is completely unrelated to any of this. I'm at a restaurant with Gary Patterson 3 weeks ago. Sorry.
All right.
And
the Baylor defensive consultant.
Two very, very short, quick story. We first did the Amazon TV show, and Gary Patterson was brought on. One of the sponsors was like, Gary Patterson? We're like, yeah. They're like, the guy who did the thing with the kids. We're like, what? It's like, apparently there's another guy named Gary Patterson who's on the registry. We're like, no. Why would that be your first thought?
You were bringing on for the college.
They're like, we Googled it. We saw the mugshot. We're like, what are you talking about?
Care to explain this?
Like, what? Yeah, we got you. We caught your Gary Patterson red-handed. Like, okay, no.
I'm guessing he's not the second one in the Google search results, the former college football coach.
The Hall of Famer. But we were at a restaurant, and I asked him, he was in his first talks to the USC, and I was like, have you looked at their schedule next year? Because I knew it was pretty tough. And he goes, not yet. I was like, all right. And we're in the middle of God, and everybody goes, hey, Siri, what's the 2026 USC football schedule? And then she does a bit-a-doot. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Siri, what's the 2000? Wait, Gary, there are people all around us. They're going to go to the Poly Market now and start betting millions of dollars on the guy next to us at the bar. Vegas, like, hey man, what you looking at that schedule for over there? You better take a job.
Hey, you're looking a little sweaty over there. Are you Gary Patterson? Pete
Thamel. Guy's got Pete Thamel's phone number for some reason. That's how Pete learns all of his stuff. Dude.
Yeah.
Siri. I'm trying to find out. Yes, that is what happens at the BYU basketball game.
Siri,
BYU Arizona.
Should I take the USC job? How about it?
AJ Dybantsa. It's going to be cinema. You want to watch it. Crazy atmosphere. Game of the year in the Big 12. This has been It Always Will Be Locked On. That's Cameron Stewart from Locked On Baylor.
Guys that almost went to Baylor.
Locked On. Thanks for making our shows your first listen every single day. We, Jarrett Stidham. You, me, Jarrett Stidham.
We got one of Jarrett Stidham's jerseys here somewhere.
Dose Grande.